Well, hey guys, it's Dr. Drake 63 here again today, and gonna look at another old firearm, an old Smith & Wesson. Once again, I don't have the nice, pretty new box, but what this is a police trade-in Model 10-10. What does that mean? That means look real close, right above the cylinder latch. You do not see that ugly ass hole. It also means that it has a bull barrel, as opposed to a lot of the cylinder or a lot of the older versions that have a tapered barrel. And we'll show some of those versions in a minute. This is a police trade-in that I actually got from a police officer. And it's got some things such as engraved serial number on the back strap. Not super thrilled about that, but hey, this is a working gun, working man's gun in 38 Special. And if you look real close, you're going to see that this needs some work. These grips are a little bit of the tacky variety, not a real fan of those. So we're going to take a look at those as well. And I think I might just have some square butt K-frame grips available. But this is the Model 10. This is a firearm that was first introduced as the hand ejector, later became the M&P. And this is a firearm. There's been some version in active production going back to the late 1800s. And for most of the 20th century, this is what police carried in that weak, useless 38 Special round that we talk about. And it was enough for a long time, without a doubt. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. Today what we're going to do is clean this up. Because it's got an old hot blued finish on it, I can use this Flitz, and we're going to do that. We're going to see about changing out the grips. I think eventually, though, I'm going to want to put a set of those Magna stocks on there, restored to its kind of classic look. But this is without a doubt a fine firearm, and you can see it's not loaded. In double action, renowned to have one of the sweetest triggers you can get, and I can attest to that. Wow. Wow. A lot of guys use these for target shooting. One thing I'll point out, speaking of targets, this has the doesn't have adjustable sights. You've got that channel built right into the top of the frame, and that's how you get her done. Now, this one hasn't had any painting or anything on the front wrap of the front sight. As you can see, it is serrated. And as you can see, this is a heavy barrel. You can see some areas where there's some rust. Very light rust. I don't even know if it's showing up on camera. But we're going to work on that. And then, of course, you have some holster wear right there, which is common. Not a problem at all. This is also, if you look at the trigger here, this is also, along with the hammer, this is also non-MIM, which stands for metal injection molding parts. This was the last version of this firearm to have that. So your trigger, your hammer, which features the floating hammer-mounted pin instead of the frame-mounted pin. These are made out of forged steel. Now, some guys really are objecting to the use of metal-injected molding for parts. Truth is, we rely on them every day when we drive a car, when we fly in an airplane, and any number of things. I've never had metal-injected molding parts fail me on a firearm. And not that they can't, And I understand why a forged metal part is more appealing. We're going to see if we can clean this guy up a little bit today and talk about it. This is the one that started it all. This was called the hand ejector model, later to be called the M&P, the original M&P. You can get a lot of information about various Smiths on Wikipedia. Of note here, 6 million copies of this most prolifically produced pistol revolver ever. You can see the service history that this saw action in just about every war that's happened in the last 120 years. And here's some nice information that talks about the various dash models, different versions that have come out over time. Lots of good information. See, the addition of these target style grips are aesthetically an immediate improvement to these rubber grips. Not a perfect fit. You can see that you've got a little bit of a seam there, and I don't know how much sanding I want to get involved with on these, because I do believe that I am going to get the Magna grips for these, but I'm just not a fan of these style grips. Never been a super big Hogue guy. I know there's plenty of guys that are, so there you have it. Already looks more old school. Now, you'll hear the term forcing cone erosion with reference to revolvers. You hear it a lot with K-frames shooting heavy 357 rounds, but what does that mean? Well, if you look real close around the edge of that forcing cone, you're going to see where little what look like little dents, or where it looks like it's almost a rough surface. And that's basically where, over time, the metal has chipped away. Now, this is a 38 special, so you don't really have the issue with these cracking that you do with some of the K-frame 357s, like the 66 and the Model 19, most notably, that we talked about a few videos ago. But that's what forcing cone erosion looks like. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's a thing. The more you fire a firearm, the more it's going to happen. What you don't want to do is have cracks. And this one certainly is not cracked. And for shooting 38 specials, I'm not concerned about it at all. Other than you can see, hey, this is something that's a thing. That's what a little bit of forcing cone erosion looks like. And the officer that sold me this said, hey, it's got light forcing cone erosion. And I have verified that. I've also verified that this version is the square butt K-frame. Some of the Model 10-10s had a round butt. Not this one. But I like to do these inspections and note that I'm getting what I thought I was getting. You can see the rifling in there is in good shape. So let's clean this guy up. Okay, you can kind of see how this is coming along. I'm able to, using the flits, get some residue off of this. And next we're going to polish with just the littlest amount of Johnsons and put this into a state we like, but very pleased with the overall condition of a gun. It's, 30-something years old. It's been used. It's going to have wear marks. I'm okay with that. I have wear marks. But let's keep working it. First of all, I'm very pleased at how this guy right here cleaned up. You know, you do have some wear, which means it's been used, which I like. You can see here on the edges of the cylinders, this gun has been fired, without a doubt. And I've got a nice set of larger target grips. Like I mentioned, I think I want to put the Magna stocks. Those are kind of minimalist. We're going to start looking for some of those on eBay or whatnot, but these will do for now. Probably needs a little sanding. Isn't a perfect fit, but we just want to compare this. Right above it is a brand new 2018 Smith & Wesson 586 with that hole we love so much. And yes, why this is in better shape. I'll just call to your attention that this is a firearm that's a lot older and it cleans up really nice, and I like the blue job, I believe, on these older ones better than the newer ones. And then moving up top, you see another duty type firearm from days gone past. This is the 28-2. Done video breakdown, shooting everything of all of these firearms. Talked about them quite a bit, but this is a stout affair, without a doubt. And I've actually got some Magna grips on order for this, and probably going to be a refinishing project based on what I've seen on the net. But here you go. This right here was the Smith & Wesson revolver for a long time. For a long time. I'd like to point out, this is a square butt L frame. This is a square butt K frame. These grips are actually interchangeable. And then this is the N frame. It's not interchangeable. It's an awesome look, and it's nice, sweet trigger. If you just listen, if you're like me, you love this sound. Very nice trigger. And it cleaned up pretty well. Cleaned up pretty well. But like I said, for purposes of comparison, here you go. And not to be outdone, there you go. As I've said before, I prefer the firing pin to be mounted on the hammer. And as you can see, over the last 25 years or so, the firing pin is frame mounted. Some people have a big preference for those. Here the firing pin is mounted on the hammer as well. So, you know, you can't shoot 357 over out of this particular firearm. I guess we could get into a big log diatribe about what that means. But what it means more than anything else is that this is not a carry gun. I did not buy this to be a carry gun. I guess for all intents and purposes, none of these are. These are firearms that I enjoy shooting. You know, I most definitely would want one of these if I knew I was going to be looking for a self-defense mode or protection from critters, four-legged, two-legged. But you know, this will handle plus P's no problem with this heavy barrel. This will handle plus P's no problem, and it's a firearm that like I said, for 120 years now has been a standard worldwide for law enforcement, for military. In fact, the original M&P series all started with this firearm right here. pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. And this little guy right here, me picking this up used with the neat stuff you like, lack of that internal lock. The sweetest trigger out of these three by far. This guy costs less than half of what I paid for this. So there is that. But 4-inch barrel Smith & Wessons. Kind of like them. I think I'd like to get that 4-inch Colt Trooper Mark III in there with this group of guys. I'm not going to lie. And before anybody says, what about that Python? Overpriced, my opinion. I may have mentioned to you that the grips between the square butt K-frame and the newer L frames are interchangeable, and these are the ones that I just had on this Model 10. These are the grips that were on this brand new 586, and I have to say, ooh la la, I might have to just get another pair of these, because these nice slim profile, I like. Might do that instead of the Magnus. But here you see, I mean, we're looking at a nice shiny reflection, and these grips go with this firearm real well. And I do like how easy it is to reach up if I want to shoot in single action, and how easy it is to just get a good grip and shoot in double action. And that is a very easy double action trigger. Wow. I'd heard that the triggers on these were phenomenal, and that is the case. So I think we're going to have to do some sanding on these to make these work the way that we want them to fit. I don't know what's up with these, but they're just kind of goofy. But you know, grips a lot of time are both aesthetic as well as you know, how they feel, how they function. These are great grips on either of these firearms, without a doubt. Forgot to mention too that this little holster right here, made by Triple K, which I bought for the 586, also is a perfect fit for the Model 10 and 4 inches. So love it when a plan comes together and you don't have to buy new stuff. For example, this 28-2 does not fit in that holster, even though these guns all look like they're basically the same. So there is that. But again, always happy to find a deal, always happy to find something that turns out to be cooler than you thought it was going to be. And I thought it was going to be pretty cool. So, as you can see, more and more, I'm a sucker for the blued steel and the wooden grip, without a doubt. But I'm feeling pretty good because I got kind of a, I don't want to say a steal, pretty good deal on this firearm. I bought it from one of our finest, which is always a good thing. Kind of a funny story. When I was talking to him, he's also responsible for outfitting the SWAT team in his particular police department, as well as the regular guys. And he was mentioning out of the blue, hey, he just had bought BCM 12.5-inch ARs for the SWAT team, and I said, I really like BCM, and he says, yeah, I know. And I'm thinking, how does the guy know? How does the guy know? Well, I was wearing this hat when I went to make the purchase, so go figure. But anyway, we had a nice long conversation about all things gun, as well as a lot of law enforcement stuff, and it was kind of interesting. That could actually be the subject of another video. Let's just leave it that I have a lot of respect for the vast majority of people who don a uniform and carry a badge and a gun. But this particular one right here, I mean, this right here is already a beautiful firearm. I can't wait to shoot it. I don't expect it to be too eventful. You know, it's shooting 38 special, so it's gonna feel pretty light compared to those 357 Magnums I've been shooting. As far as folks that want to make comments about why you want to get a 38, you know, blah 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 blah, out of a 4-inch barrel, a 38, especially some of the self-defense ammo that's available today, is going to provide you plenty of self-defense. I mean, it's going to be very close to what you're seeing with 9mm and so forth. But that's not what I bought this for as a carry gun. Although I just will say, for 120 years, think about it, 120 years and over 6 million copies of this worldwide, this has been getting the job done. So this is basically what this is in today's world, the Glock, which is now being carried by more police worldwide than anybody else. This one, 19 and 9mm. So, you know, evolution, I would guess so. There's going to be some guys watching this that are big revolvers guy that say, hey, man, semi-autoloader like a Glock is no evolution when you're talking about something like a nice Smith & Wesson revolver. And obviously I get that. So I appreciate you watching today. Just a little bit of an overview and some things I did. Spent less than an hour probably cleaning this thing up. And like I said, slap some new grips on there and it looks like a beauty. So this is DR Drake 63 saying have a great day. Talk to you soon. More videos to come.